folks, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be watching and reviewing one of my favorite movies from my childhood, and a movie I can watch over and over again to this day. I'm talking about Brewster's Millions from 1985. This movie stars Richard Pryor back in his prime days, John Candy, and it's directed by Walter Hill, who was also a producer on Aliens and the director, if I remember correctly, for 48 Hours. Needless to say, as a kid, I learned so much about money from watching this movie. I don't know how much it actually influenced me, but I actually learned a lot. So we're gonna hop right into it. Oh, Joel Silver production. I always loved the soundtrack for this movie for whatever reason. Now I will say that Richard Pryor never really convinced me as a superstar athlete. John Candy is great in this movie. Train on the field. It'd be pretty dangerous for the players, wouldn't it? Tripping over those tracks, running out for a ball.
There's a guy up there in the bleachers, front row. He's got a hat, camera. He's been taking pictures of me for the last 3 games.
They do a good job of establishing early on that he has dreams of being in the big league. That bar is exceptionally crowded. It's got to be the only spot in town. So like I said before, this movie really establishes that especially Brewster has a dream of playing in the big leagues, pretty much down on his luck, him and John Candy. And this is where like you start to kind of feel for him as a character. And when he becomes rich, you know, it just becomes one of those things where you're like, oh, you're rooting for him because he's struggling at this point. Look at him. They look like snakes.
Perhaps you'd better sit down, Mr. Brewster. What I'm...
Greetings from the grave. Don't look so surprised. Didn't you know your great-grandfather was a honky? Old man married twice. One wife, white. When I was 7 years old, my daddy caught me smoking a cigar.
I always remember this cigar story.
3 days and 3 nights. Here's my proposition. You have 30 days in which to spend $30 million.
There's got to be a catch.
Of course there's a catch.
You're not allowed to tell anybody why you have to spend it.
This is a great way to have some exposition and explain what's actually going on in a movie. You make it part of a will. This movie came out when I was 7, 1985. I learned so much. Still didn't know shit, but still learned a whole lot. I'd be telling him to shut the hell up. Yeah, I'm going to have a lot of fun with this.
Job! I'll pay you $2,000 a week to be the chief of my security. No. How would you like to be my personal driver for the next 30 days at $5,000 a week?
What a country, America, love it.
Brewster, you can hire a fleet of...
So Brewster finds really creative ways to spend the money without getting any assets in the process. So he's taking like hundreds of people to lunch, and he finds really creative ways to do it.
The Committee to Ban Contact Sports. Well, recent studies have shown that sanctioned violence has a detrimental effect on our young people.
Shut up, nerd.
I do a little legal work for the committee. Thank you. Very, very much.
Here, have a drink.
We'll make him walk around with that.
Thank you, I will. Well, one little sip won't hurt, dear.
That's right.
$100,000 change your mind.
All right, let's kick some butt around here.
Look at Rick Moranis.
We would experience a loss of only 18% through evaporation and melting on the entire trip.
Hey, think of what that means to all those thirsty Arab farmers. It's great.
Thirsty Arab farmers.
There aren't any.
There was one thing this movie made me realize at a young age is that even $1 million, $20, $30 million isn't that much depending on how you spend it. Another thing this movie taught me is that everybody can be bought.
She'll be real mad when she finds out.
Montgomery Brewster.
Ching, 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 ching.
I have been reading so much about you in the newspaper.
I'd like to see your most expensive stamp. Ah, one moment.
I'd say the stamp he's bought is a considerable asset.
I don't want it. I'm going to give it to charity. What's your favorite charity?
Oh, I don't know. There's so
Oh,
many.
she perked up all of a sudden, huh?
So many. What?
But like I said, it's one of those movies where
Have a good day.
you learn that just people in general can be bought, and a lot of people are just snakes. He done pissed her off though.
I'm starving.
This is why it sucks that you can't tell anybody what his actual plan is, because you're gonna have people do stuff like this.
That's great.
An oil well thing.
He just made you $10 million.
$10 million! $10 million, $10 million, $10 million, $10.
Another thing this movie taught me: politicians ain't shit.
The above. You know how it is around election time and you decide not to vote because the two candidates are so repulsive.
I'd vote for him. One cool thing this movie does is that you don't get like a running total of how much money he's actually spending. You got to kind of figure it out, and you know, at the end they say, okay, he's pretty much spending it all, but you don't know where he is in the process at any given time. Another thing this movie does really well is they don't really lean into the fact that Monty's a black guy that inherited this money. They didn't try to say, you know, he came from the hood or he was a criminal or anything like that. The fact that he's black is almost non-consequential in this movie, and I honestly really like that.
Hey, Dixon, I saw your wife on television, too. Yeah, she sure is an ugly bitch. Hey.
You ain't gonna talk to me the way you did Dixon.
Hey, can I help it if a guy can't take a joke? Besides, have you ever seen his wife?
Yeah, ugly bitch.
Like, best joke in the movie. This is the most unhappy dude ever going to pick up $300 million.
Just the man I wanted to see. I've got wonderful news. Remember the $20,000 that you gave me as a deposit on the furniture? Well, here it is.
No, give me that.
Monty, stop. Don't sign anything.
Miss Drake, this is a private meeting.
Leave or you'll be fired. Sign right.
He purposely withheld a $20,000 deposit so that Monty would think he'd already spent it.
Gentlemen, is there any truth to this accusation?
Totally preposterous. We're
Preposterous.
completely innocent. You are fired, Miss Drake.
What are you insinuating?
You're a big girl. You figure it out.
Hold it, sister. Take it easy. I'm going to need an attorney, Miss Drake. Would $20,000 be enough for a retainer?
But I'm just a paralegal. I don't have a degree yet.
You can get a degree with
I don't care.
$20,000. It's just an advance.
That was Brewster's Millions. Excellent, excellent movie. Like I said, I learned a lot growing up watching this movie about money. It didn't make me necessarily good at it, but I definitely learned a lot. And it's one of those movies I can watch over and over again. And it's finally available on YouTube, you know, free with ads. And for a long time, it was the old 1945 version. So just so you know, this movie is a remake of a film from 1945 by the same name, which itself was an adaptation of a book from like 1902. But this is one of those movies that I probably wouldn't mind seeing a modern day remake of. You know, I know you get tired of remakes for all the old good movies, but this one, I think, you know, a decent remake nowadays, it could be pretty creative. So I would kind of like to see that with a, I don't know, maybe another famous comedian, but who knows? Anyway, that's Brewster's Millions, 1985, classic movie. I love it. And if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, share, and I'll be back soon. Peace.